So we recently discussed the DNC Unity and Reform Commission and their different recommendations that they made to try to fix the DNC. Now, as I described, these recommendations now go to the Rules and Bylaws Committee. The Rules and Bylaws Committee can choose to tweak them or not, which is already like, don't like that. But then it goes back to the Unity and Reform Commission, and then it goes for a vote in the over 400-member DNC. And, you know, we have to wait to see what happens, but I understand when skeptics are like, I don't know how this is going to go down here, because this is the same DNC that recently voted to keep taking corporate money. So what, are we going to trust that room full of people to do the right thing? So among the reforms are they're eliminating 60% of the superdelegates, and then they're tying the remaining superdelegates to the votes of the people of their state. So that's good. But it'd be better if you just eliminated superdelegates. This weird middle ground is kind of gross, but Nomiki Const. I'm sorry, Nomiki. I'm that. Nomiki says like people fuck up her first name. I'm the dude who fucks up your last name. Nomiki Const. Sorry, but anyway, she really went in on this Unity and Reform Commission panel, and look at her really destroy party officials for their brazen corruption.
Okay. This smells. This doesn't just smell to the public right now that the budget of the party was never put before. Forget about the budgetary committee for a second. Put before the people who have a fiduciary responsibility, whether it's Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, whether it's Donna Brazile when she was chair, when she was vice chair, or Vice Chair Ray Buckley, or Dr. Jim Zogby over here. That's over half the executive committee right there. Had no idea where the money was going. We spent $1 billion, lost the easiest presidential race you could possibly imagine, with joint fundraising agreements. State parties weren't being funded. During the DNC chairs race, there were some state party chairs who said, I'm an acting executive director and I have $3,000 cash on hand. How are you supposed to rebuild the party if you have no idea where that money was spent? And you know what? I did go through FEC filings. And it doesn't look good. It smells. We're talking about close to $700 to $800 million between the joint fundraising agreement and the DNC being spent on 5 consultants. Uh-oh. This is not a public outrage issue. The DNC chairs are upset, the officers are upset, and I don't know who's on the Budget and Finance Committee. I did go to the meeting. It was 15 minutes long, and there was a pie chart that was put on screen. Yeah. But I would, as a Democratic Party member of this commission, we have a duty, and people are watching us right now. The number one issue I get asked out in the public by DNC members is, what are you going to do about the budget? It is absolutely ridiculous that we are going to keep a status quo system when it basically says we're going to continue to lose 1,200 seats. Let me describe what losing 1,200 seats looks like, or the remaining seats we have. If you're in Trump, yes, but let's break that down a little bit. If you're in Arizona and you have an ectopic pregnancy, you can't go to a Planned Parenthood clinic because it's gone, because that state legislature is lost. So you have to drive over to New Mexico. And if you bleed to death on the way, you know whose fault that is? In my mind, that's a Democratic Party that wasn't funded, recruiting candidates, investing in local parties. And that is our fault, because we have put that money to the top 5 consultants. And part of that has to go to the conflicts of interests. This is outrageous, it's unethical, it's bad governance, and frankly, it's fucking, corruption.
That's spot on, and she brought up an issue that the DNC did not want to be uncovered. But what she's referring to is the fact that typically in non-election years, what happens with these parties is they say, okay, well, we ramp up for the elections, and we pay these consultants, and we pay these strategists, and you need more people involved in this process when elections are coming up for obvious reasons. I mean, you need the Democratic Party and the Republican Party need to be organized by the time the elections come around, and they have a variety of tasks that they have to do. But in years that are not election years, you're supposed to scale down completely and, keep the budget reasonable. Well, what happened was under Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Obama, when he was president, they said, hey, listen, why don't you keep on my consultant friends? Oh, are you fucking kidding me? So yes, Obama and Debbie Wasserman Schultz fleeced the people of the country. So all this, the DNC, we got to do all this fundraising and we got to, hey, we got to win, we got to beat the Republicans. But that money, a lot of that money was being directed to 5 consultants who were in those positions because of cronyism, who were in those positions because of corruption. So basically, they're paying people a tremendous amount of money when they shouldn't be paying them that money. And the reason that happened was, of course, you can guess. There's corrupt reasons that go into it, whether those people had been donors to Obama and then Obama's paying them back. I mean, this is the way politics works in this country. It's just grotesque across the board. There's nepotism, there's cronyism, there's open corruption, there's legalized bribery. And what Nomiki's saying is this is fucking crazy. And the reason why it took forever to even uncover these facts is because the DNC budget is not transparent. So you don't even tell us where we're spending the money. So here we have an election that should have been a layup election against a reality show monster. That election was lost, and then the DNC goes, don't worry, we got this shit the next time around. We'll take care of it. No, how about you tell us exactly how you spent the money, where you spent the money, so we can do an autopsy of that, a diagnosis of that, an analysis of that, and we can say, oh, well, that didn't fucking work. Don't spend the money in the way we spent it last time. Spend it this way. But they don't want anybody to see it because they don't really care about the outcome, because they care more about protecting their own asses and paying off their buddies. So this is a great job from Nomiki, basically exposing how rotten the system is. I mean, the nerve of the people in the DNC to say, no, we don't do budget transparency. Hey, we don't show you what we've done during elections. Get the fuck out of here, man. And then to keep paying those consultants when they know they shouldn't be paying those consultants. And you wonder why people are cynical. Obama came in, message of hope and change, and I'm not going to do the same old Washington politics. I'm going to change the game. No, you did the same old Washington politics. That's why even the most charitable interpretation of your presidency is that you incrementally moved in the right direction. And that is a charitable interpretation of your presidency because that disregards all the areas in which you moved in the wrong direction. Like, when it comes to interventions, you took 2 interventions and turned them into 7. You did drone strikes, massacring civilians. So in some ways you made everything better. Like, Obamacare was definitely a step in the right direction, although you should have done at least a public option, but really Medicare for all. But in some ways you moved us in the right direction. In other ways you didn't. You moved us in the wrong direction. And when the party's obliterated under you, and there's a loss of 1,000 seats, maybe it's time for accountability. Maybe it's time to do an autopsy on that and go, oh, that's the problem right there. Hey, we're propping up shitty establishment candidates who aren't populist left and don't have a vision like Bernie Sanders does. We're paying off our buddies because they looked out for us and gave us money. So now Nomiki's saying, no, what we need to have a council. And by the way, they caved to her on this. An ombudsman council that does budget transparency and, looks where the money's being spent and what's objectionable about that. And, that's really important because that, again, bare minimum we're talking about here that can be done. So many of the DNC Unity and Reform Commission ideas are good, but now it's just a matter of holding your breath and hoping that the bylaws committee is good and will take the recommendations. But we don't know if they'll do that. The effective elimination of superdelegates, if they say, no, we're not going to do that, we're not going to effectively eliminate them, well, then again, you can't be mad when you continue to lose elections. You can't be mad about it because basically what's going on here is Bernie Sanders and the progressive wing of the party, they're giving you an opportunity. They're saying, listen, you fucked us over beyond all recognition, and everybody knows it. Donna Brazile admits it. So, well, here's your opportunity. You want to fix it, or you want to keep spitting in everybody's eye and then expect to lose? So here's your opportunity. Fix these things. Fix whatever's under your control. Well, if you don't fix it, then you can't be mad when you don't do well in elections, because, you know, the shaming of voters who don't fall in line, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. People can only take that garbage for so long before they say, you know what, fuck off. Maybe the problem's with you and not me. So I hope it all works out. I hope the bylaws committee accepts the recommendations. I hope it passes when the DNC actually votes on it. But Nomiki did a great job there of railing against the lack of transparency and the corruption at the DNC.